What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Work has been crazy as hell today. Finally actually have time to upload a video. So the other day I was actually thinking about buying 5 copies of the Majin Vegeta to max them out, but I'm really glad I didn't because I had enough to get 1 copy of the new LR Metacooler army. So yeah, I mean, I would have been really pissed if I ended up using all the gems I had on the 5 copies of Majin Vegeta and then realized I would have needed, copies for the Metacooler army. So I'm glad I held off on that and really happy about it. So I'm basically going to be running through the updated Battlefield. So this is going to be a long video, so just feel free to be in and out whenever. I don't expect all of you to watch the whole thing, but I'm just going to cover each of the battles here. And I think for this Ginyu, which is a extreme strength now, definitely can't be stunned, and then He's got the ability to reduce damage, so I went with initially for this with a kind of movie boss category team with a cooler sub lead that's gonna provide like 50% to attack and defense. It's not overly difficult since it is the very first one, so I'm able to reserve the really good units for the last battle against the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, because he is pretty tough if you don't plan accordingly. So I'm just gonna run through this, and hopefully this will give you an idea how to kind of plan out your team building for each battle, because essentially you want to get to a point where you're not really having to continue or restart as minimal as possible. That's the best way to do it. Now I understand that it really depends on the deck, and this isn't really free-to-play friendly by any means. It's actually very unfair against the free-to-play type players, because it requires really good units to be ran, especially due to the fact that you have to have a sub-lead. Now I would suggest for future Battlefields to make it a little bit more easier for those types of players. I think it'd be a good idea to similar to like Super Battle Road and what is that, speed battle type deal, at least provide a option to select a friend to run as a sub lead. I think that would honestly make things a lot more fair to most players, honestly. So maybe they'll take into feedback like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're taking any surveys or anything as of late, but maybe something they need to hear, right? I mean, it's got to be leveled out to some extent. I mean, it can't just be tailored toward, all the whales in the game and people that have played for a long time, kind of deal. But it is what it is as of right now. But hopefully they'll make some adjustments and changes that'll make the experience a little bit better. So you've noticed that a lot of the units in here, I'm not really getting super attacks with. I'm not really concerned with this cooler, the final form cooler, whatnot. I'm predominantly focused on the Golden Frieza, which is at 100%, and then the 2 Turles units. Basically, those guys are pretty much the ones that are going to be, committing as much damage, as they can. So that's pretty much the strategy. I mean, Turles, I ended up using that Tanabata item to get a copy for him so I could unlock the top left pad. So he's got level 14 for additional attack and level 12 for criticals. Works out pretty well. You can certainly do level 11 additional attack and level 15 for him. So if you do have Turles and you have the agility movie boss category lead Turles, I would recommend you get a copy of the Giant Ape Turles unit, because he is very helpful and he links up very well with the other Turles unit. Okay, so this is the Giant Ape Vegeta. It did switch to the physical type. He is immune to being stunned, so I'm bringing pretty much a double Broly lead, 70% and 90% stat leads, and then just bring in various other units. Really reserving the best strength units for later on against, who was it? Against Zamasu. So we'll get into that later on, how much of a bitch he actually is. But yeah, I have to reserve the tanks and really good units for that battle. I like to include Majin Vegeta on here because he does have the ability to change the agility orbs into the strength orbs, so that helps out the other units in the team that need to get the super attack. I'm not really concerned with Janemba getting a super attack, even though he's at SA level 10, and he can hit for a decent amount. The 2 Broly units can pretty much take care of business, so you know that's. I'd rather prioritize their attacks than anything. I mean, you just saw their 1.7 mil, and then another, you know, super attack coming. So pretty much a done deal with just a couple of supers with the Broly units. So that's pretty much, you know, the format with that. And I understand not everybody has, you know, LR Broly or even the Extreme Z Awakened Broly. So just keep in mind, I mean, you want to have, you'll need 2 strength teams within this Battlefield updated version. So, you know, just try and figure out what's manageable. Basically, how less of a team can you get by with? Really, that's what it comes down to. Like some teams, like especially my physical team, right? I've had to like test out, you know, how much I could get away with, like how weak my team was for the first set versus reserving the best units for the second one against a different battle. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely makes you think a little bit. Okay, so all right, that is the level 1 stage cleared. So moving on to level 2, which will include 3 battles. It's going to be the Extreme Tech, Full Power Bojack, Extreme Intelligence, Android 13, and then the Extreme Agility, Super Saiyan Broly. So this guy, you can't stun him, you can't steal his SA, you can't reduce his attack or defense, and he's also going to be reducing damage taken. This one is actually a little bit tricky for me because, again, this is one of those teams where I have to reserve my best units for later on. So I'm pretty much running 70% leads, and then I did have to include Berserker Kale because otherwise it'd be a real struggle to clear it, depending on, you know, the rotation, obviously. But for this team, it's pretty much the Raccoon unit, Ginyu, and Kale that are going to be pretty much the ones dealing damage. Everyone else is pretty much just filling in the spot, so to speak. You know, they're not there to apply damage. They're basically there just to be there. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the concept with that. So yeah, I ended up maxing out the Ginyu, and I would have had plenty of orbs left over for the second copy of Metal Cooler Army, but it's okay. I mean, the Ginyu Force unit's pretty nice actually, and it helps out a lot in Battlefield, even if I don't use them necessarily on you know, regular teams. But more or less it was a collection unit that I wanted maxed out at 100%. All right, so yeah, this is you know, Berserker Kale up, and she's got the ability to super up to 3 times, and she's at 90%, so definitely deals a lot of damage and very, very helpful. So yeah, 1.3 million, and then yeah, the one time she decides to not super, and then you've got 1 million attacks coming from Android 13. But luckily, I have plenty of HP left, and then you know, this Broly's gonna take care of business. He's at 90%, so I ended up pulling dupes of this guy left and right. So I finally decided to just invest some orbs into him, and he's not, you know, the best unit by any means, but in Battlefield and stuff like that, he definitely does help. Alright, so this is the Tech Full Power Bojack. He does reduce damage. He's immune to stunning, and attack and defense you can't decrease. So pretty much running my best super intelligence team. Now, you did see I had a extreme intelligence team. I just left a reserve team in there in case, you know, I struggle later on against like the Goku Black unit. Tends to like cause me problems here and there. So my extreme intelligence is actually a pretty good team. So reserving that for backup, I guess, in a way. Bardock is definitely the first one you want to put up front because after the super attack, his defense will go up. Definitely made a mistake with the Ultra Instinct Goku. Wasn't able to get a super, but I'm not really concerned with that too much. It's gonna be a long video, so I had to get a drink real fast. Yeah, it's about to be a crazy evening for me. Basically, I went home for like an hour to get some dinner. You know, around, I think I got back to my place about, I don't know, 5:30, and then came right back to the office around, I don't know, 45 minutes later, and then here I am recording right now. And then obviously after I'm done, I gotta go back and get some more work done. So I'd rather just get it out of the way tonight than have to, you know, work over July 4th. That's gonna be a bitch, you know. So I'd rather do that than work tomorrow, I guess. So pretty much, this team is real nice. It's probably one of my strongest type-specific teams, so not really struggling at all whatsoever. You know, Gogeta is a crazy unit. At 100%, he's real nice. I actually gave him additional attack levels of 12 and then evasion for 14. I didn't put any levels toward criticals because he's effective against all types, so I pretty much prioritize additional attacks as well as, you know, the ability to evade attacks. So it works out pretty well, and that's really the only unit that I actually put in levels toward dodge, like a unit as powerful as him, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's pretty much the Bojack stage. So we're gonna move on to the Super Saiyan Broly event, and this can be a little bit tricky too, because the pain in the ass part about this guy is he'll super like up to 2 times per round. So, and he's also immune to stunning, and also you can't steal his SA, so it can definitely cause some problems. So this is kind of like a weird team setup. I have the LR Goku Black as lead for 90%, and then the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks for the 70%. Pretty much the only reason he's on this team is because of that +3 key and 70% towards stats. I mean, that's really the only reason he's on there. And I have not put in any work toward his SA for this guy because I pretty much got the physical version like before I even got the tech version, so there wasn't really a need for it. So yeah, he's at SA level 1, so you'll see that his output's not quite, you know, it's not high at all. But the Ginyu unit though is pretty nice because he does have that unit does have the ability to you know, increase attack and defense by 30% for I think it's extreme type allies. So that will definitely help within this battle because Broly can hit for a pretty decent amount, and when it hits, it definitely hurts. Like 72,000. I mean, that's a pretty decent amount, and luckily I have, you know, Goku Black to recover a little bit in HP. You do see the World Tournament Cell in there, and he's actually a great support unit. 30% toward attack and defense for extreme types, and also a key boost, I think either +2 or 3, I believe. So yeah, and my tech cooler is 100%, and I gave him full crits, like level 20 criticals. So when he gets his crits, he can hit for a really good amount, and that's actually one of the units I'm very happy that I did max out, because he's a very nice unit, surprisingly. And even though he only has level 6 in additional attack, you see, you know, it does kick in every now and then, and that was what, close to 2.3 million in damage combined. And that's the World Tournament Cell. He's able to hit for close to 700,000. So, and he can defend pretty well too. So I should have at least 70% HP left still. So Golden Frieza will be able to take, and then you know, the Ginyu unit can do pretty well in terms of defending. He'll be better than the Gurdo unit. And that little dude can actually hit for pretty decent too in this battle. So he's a free-to-play unit, pretty easy to get. So definitely worthwhile to, you know, go ahead and max out if you can. So pretty much 1 HP bar left, and we're just gonna finish up here. Unfortunately, it looks like made the mistake of not having Cooler being able to get the super attack, so yeah, I'd rather not put Gotenks in the middle because he'll take more in damage, so we'll just hope that Goku Black can cut out most of the HP, which he probably will. Okay, so pretty much ran pretty smoothly on that one, problems free. It really depends because sometimes this guy is a huge dick. I mean, he can be such a bitch sometimes, but luckily in that case he was behaving himself, I guess. So got lucky there. All right, so that takes care of level 2. So moving on to level 3. And we're just gonna go ahead and get the pain in the ass part out of the way. This is the physical type Zamasu unit. He reduces the damage taken, and he recovers a shit ton of HP, like 3 million or some shit like that. And yeah, he is a bitch. You can't steal his SA either. However, you can stun him, so it really comes down to the ability to make sure he gets stunned, because otherwise he's just going to keep recovering HP and you're going to be running the clock down because it's turn-based on a limit of 30. So yeah, I mean, I have the Vegeta unit and the Jiren unit, so both of them do have the possibility to stun the enemies. Vegeta has a high probability, so he's a better unit to rely on, but Jiren's really good for this one too, because if Zamasu is stunned, it's guaranteed for him to get a critical hit. So in that regard, it helps. But again, like you saw there, even if Vegeta has a high chance of stunning, from what I've seen, he doesn't get stunned more than he gets stunned. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy how, like, I went through it earlier and I supered with this guy for like 4 or 5 times and he didn't get stunned at all, like not even once. You know what I'm saying? That's not even a 20 to 25% rate. So yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes RNG's a bitch. Vegeta Blue is going to be one of your clutch cards in this setup because not only can he apply a good amount of damage, he can also defend very, very well. So yeah, I was looking through the stats here just to see if anybody had like some sort of passive that would help, but unfortunately it's not the case because as you can see, he's about to recover the HP that I worked so hard to take down. So that's the only problem with this this battle is stuns aren't guaranteed, and it's such a pain to get the HP down and then just to see it go back up, especially when Zamasu is like set to have his HP skill kick in like before you even have a chance to attack. That's probably the biggest like douchebag thing that he does. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's whatever. They make it difficult for a reason, but I can understand why a lot of people would struggle with this. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, Vegeta Blue is definitely a unit you want to bring on this one because, with that super attack, he only took 8,000 in damage. So the longer the battle is, his attack and defense will go up, as many times as the super activates. So he's definitely a good unit to include in, and he's one that I heavily relied on. Okay, so I definitely need either one of these guys to stun Zamasu, otherwise, like, well, I actually need Vegeta to stun him because he's lined up to recover HP after Vegeta attacks, so we'll see what happens. I will say this, the Extreme Z Awakened Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, is actually a very good unit to include on here because of that 80% increase to attack and defense. So when that passive kicks in, he can actually defend like much better than Super Saiyan 4 Goku per se. So So I'm in one of the conference rooms, and I guess somebody came in, heard my voice. So that's one of the things about the recording in the workplace, I guess. It's still technically, you know, like 6:30 or something, so, you know, people are still out and about. So gradually taking the HP down, so things are helping definitely. All right, let's go ahead and keep running through. HP bar is down pretty decent amount, so, you know, just a matter of wearing him down. That's really what it comes down to. So yeah, he definitely keeps recovering HP and definitely causes problems, but again, yeah, it's just a matter of getting lucky in terms of, you know, having him get stunned. I mean, really. Otherwise, you're gonna have to rely on a bunch of additional attacks to kick in to counteract his ability to heal HP. But you know, it's much more easier to just go ahead and stun him. That way, you know, you get pretty much 2 turns with him not only, you know, applying any damage to your team, but also not recovering. I mean, that does make a difference, and, you know, time could be cut down quite a bit by doing so. All right, so he is stunned now, and Jiren is guaranteed to get a critical, and thank God, because Zamasu was actually getting ready to recover some more HP. So yeah, that's the only way to really counteract this, and I don't really know other units that do have the ability to stun the enemy. Like, I know like basically like a good chance of stunning the enemies that are either extreme strength or super strength types. But Jiren and Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, if you have them, definitely bring them on this team because they'll pretty much be your lifesaver. So yeah, I mean, 6 minutes plus, I mean, not too bad. I mean, it could definitely take longer. I've had that experience before, so we'll move on to the Vegeta battle. And this guy, you can't stun him, still does SA, you can't reduce his attack or defense, and he takes less in damage. So I'm bringing probably my best super physical type team. And it's pretty much with the 120% lead and then the 90% sub lead. So the LR Trunks unit is the one that's probably going to be doing the most damage. I think the Vegeta Blue, obviously, with the counters and additional supers, and also the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks unit, he could actually hit for a lot too. Vegeta Blue and Gotenks are at 90% potential, so just one last dupe left for them to be maxed out. But yeah, I mean, these guys are very good units for me, and they help out a lot. So this battle could definitely be a lot harder, and that's why I said earlier, it's important to like reserve your best units for these types of battles, because it's going to be an uphill battle, you know, if you end up using your best units at the very beginning. And I do like the Gohan unit, 35% increase to attack and defense. I mean, that's going to help out a lot. Bardock does provide 20% increase to attack and then also a key boost. I do have these guys maxed out with their SA, and I do have some potential paths unlocked. I just haven't really invested orbs into them. So I'm debating on the Gohan unit because I do use them a lot, and I think I'd be able to use them a lot more frequently if I actually, you know, got him to like 90%. I think I can actually get him to 90%. And he can probably hit a pretty decent amount. So Vegeta Blue is definitely coming in clutch here. Hopefully another super attack. I guess not. That's fine. Pretty much only 2 HP bars left now, so he's pretty much a done deal. Alright, so that went a lot more smoothly than yeah, I anticipated. So moving on to the next one. This Goku Black actually does cause me a lot of problems. It's because of, you know, he has the ability of sealing SA at a high percentage. So it really hurts when your best units have their SA sealed. Like, for example, the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, or the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, I want to include the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan unit, but I also need to include the Candy Vegito. Candy Vegito definitely comes in clutch when he does, but when he doesn't, it definitely messes things up. The Gohan unit is very nice because he provides 30% for attack and defense, so it helps out, you know, the team overall. But for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and include Candy Vegito because, you know, they do have the ability to dodge at a high rate. I actually changed things up a long time ago where it's more heavier focus on evasion. So we'll see how things are. This actually works fine because I don't need Candy Vegito to necessarily get a super attack. So unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to put. Yeah, this is the thing where I gotta think about where to place everybody. Ideally, I want to place Gogeta, you know, like up front to like expect a super right off the bat, but at the same time, there are a lot more attacks coming at the end too. And plus, by putting Gogeta in the last slot, he's not gonna come back around. You know, it's gonna be like the turn after next. After that is basically when he's going to come back around. So he's one of those units that I need, you know, to be around in super a lot. But in this case, you know, it's whatever. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Alright, okay, so let's go ahead and seal the SA with the Bardock unit. And then Angel Goku will provide some damage. We'll see how the orbs look. I don't necessarily need Tapion to get a super, even though he'll do a decent amount of damage with the built-in critical. I actually wanted him in the middle because his defense will increase. But in order to keep good links between Bardock and Goku, you know, just kind of have to, Goku, just have to keep them together a little, you know, because not only that, I need them to come back around too, like the turn after next, because Bardock, I need him to seal SA, and then Goku just because he can provide a lot of damage. But had I put Tapion in the middle, he probably would have taken only about 10,000 in damage, probably. So Jiren is also a very good unit for Battlefield, because if you have at least a key meter at 10, he'll reduce damage taken by 50%. And I actually gave him a decent amount of levels toward dodge. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna help a lot. Not only is he gonna be able to cut damage, but he's also got the ability to dodge enemy attacks. So he definitely does help out in these types of setups. So down to about 2 HP bars, so slowly getting there. It's definitely a little bit of a struggle, not too bad, but you know, HP levels are definitely on the low side though. And yeah, of course, you know, he's gonna seal Bardock's SA and not have the ability to seal the super attack. So a lot of attacks coming up front, so obviously gonna put Gogeta just in case a super comes about, and then finish out with the Angel Goku, hopefully. A little bit left. So pretty much a done deal, luckily. Alright, so moving on to the last one. It's about damn time. I know it's a long video, so I don't even know how many people stuck around for this, but if you're still here, I appreciate you watching. Alright, so this is the Strength Super Saiyan Blue Goku, immune to stuns, and you can't steal his SA. It reduces damage taken, and also you can't reduce attack and defense. So bring in pretty much my best super agility team, and running the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta lead, and then the LR Goten and Trunks sub lead because of the +4 key and 100% increase to HP attack and defense. So pretty much the best setup I can have for this. So yeah, let's see how this goes. One last stretch. So far everything's ran somewhat smoothly, so you know, hopefully that's the case. And I did make sure to include LR Trunks. You know, he's a very decent unit to have on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put Caulifla up front because she does have the ability to dodge attacks and counter super attacks. So we'll see what happens. And Vegeta, I mean, obviously, I mean, he can counter like crazy, and also you know, do a lot of damage. So he's a good unit too. My Caulifla unit is at 100%, and I gave her level 11 for additional attack and level 15 for criticals, I think. She's a pretty decent unit at 100%. She definitely helps. Alright, not bad damage from him, and then taking some more damage out with the counter. Unfortunately, Goku decided to super on my Vegeta and took about 70,000 HP, but that's really nothing. This is probably one of the best setups that I've got for the super agility team, so didn't really put a dent on it so far. And then Tapion will, you know, obviously cut damage taken by 50%, so that's going to help out a lot. Especially with a bunch of attacks coming at the beginning. So, and he can actually hit pretty decent too. I think my this Tapion's at 90%, and then, you know, worst case scenario when HP is below 50%, he can transform into the giant form, and then also increases attack by like 150%. So definitely a useful unit. Vegeta has no dupes, so it's pretty much the free dupe path format, like plus 2,000 for each HP, attack, and defense. And I recently pulled these guys off the what was it? The animation like celebration ticket. It's crazy how I was actually able to pull an LR with that, because I thought pretty much like everybody was guaranteed to pull one as part of that celebration kind of thing. But yeah, I got extremely lucky with it, and here he is helping out the team. So it looks like I got a bunch of attacks coming at the end. I do want to place either Caulifla or Vegeta there, but I want to make sure everybody gets their super attack. So I'm thinking, yeah, Vegeta's gonna counter the first two attacks. Hopefully it's they're non-supers, and then Caulifla is just gonna have to stay in the middle, and then the Super Saiyan 3 Goku can, you know, hopefully take care of the business and finish it off. So about 4 HP bars left. I mean, they can definitely deal a decent amount of damage, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to KO Goku here. Additional attack will definitely help get there. And another critical, so looks good. I think pretty much a done deal. So yeah, clean run with the Battlefield, and yeah, things don't ever go this smoothly. Trust me, when I was playing this earlier, like the fuckers that don't need to be fucking with me will be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Android 13 and Broly and Goku Black were the tedious battles periodically. I mean, not all the time, but every now and then they would be a pain in the ass. So so that's pretty much the overview, I guess, of each of the battles. So hopefully that kind of helped a little bit gauge what to expect. So here's something else that's funny. I'm gonna show you something. So I already got my Meta Cooler Army unit, right? The first copy. Guess how much I'm short on for the second? Literally, like what? Like 6,500. I'm short on gems. Like, damn. So I gotta wait till next week, and hopefully I'll be able to get the second copy and, you know, unlock the dupe paths. Like, SA level is only at level 2, so long ways to go. But yeah. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.